Since 1949, China has been ruled by one political party, the Communist Party. The party's leadership is enshrined in China's constitution, and it controls almost every facet of Chinese life. The party is organized like a pyramid. At the grassroots are around 92 million members, about 6.6% of China's total population. Of these, about 2,300 are selected to be delegates at the National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, which convenes once every 5 years. From within their ranks, the Congress delegates select about 380 to become members of the Central Committee. And members of that committee select the Politburo. The size of the Politburo varies with each leader. There are currently 25 members. A handful of these Politburo members are selected to serve on the Standing Committee, which again varies in size depending on who's in charge. Right now, there are 7 members. The most important member of the Standing Committee is the party's top leader, the General Secretary. Since 2012, that's been Xi Jinping. In theory, the party elects its leadership from the bottom up, but in practice, it's the other way around. The lineups of the Politburo and Standing Committee are actually determined through closed-door negotiations and sometimes behind-the-scenes power struggles. Although their power has faded in recent years, party elders have traditionally played a large role in determining who gets a coveted seat, and their election is seen as a formality. At the same time, the Politburo and Standing Committee ultimately decide who is selected to be on the Central Committee. The election of a delegate to the party congress is also considered a formality. The Communist Party cements its rule in China by controlling all aspects of the government. China's top legislature, the National People's Congress, or NPC, has nearly 3,000 seats. But the Communist Party holds about 2/3 of them. The other third are reserved for non-party members, including technical experts and members of 8 other much smaller political parties. But they don't serve as a political opposition. While they can offer diversity of opinion, the very existence of those smaller parties is based on the condition that they accept the Communist Party's leadership. That means there is effectively no official political opposition in China's law-making body and no organized opposition movement in Chinese society. Some Politburo members are also state leaders and ministers in charge of government bodies that officially report to the National People's Congress. The NPC has the right to direct and review the work of these organizations, but the reality is that such authority is more of a rubber stamp in nature than a real supervisory power. The State Council, which is tasked with enacting national policy and supervising all government departments, is led by the Chinese Premier, who is also a member of the Politburo Standing Committee. The Central Military Commission is chaired by the party's General Secretary, giving the Communist Party direct leadership over the world's biggest military. Like other branches of government, China's judiciary is confirmed by the NPC, but it's the party's Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission which supervises the courts, and that's chaired by a member of the Politburo. At least on paper, the Communist Party operates on the principles of democratic centralism. That means policies are discussed, debated, and then voted on in a democratic way. But everyone must accept and follow the result, not work against it. What's not transparent is exactly how democratic this process is. Discussions and debates on policies happen behind closed doors, and it's hard to say how much internal debate really takes place, or whether party members simply go along with initiatives from higher up the chain. Loyalty and stability are essential to the party's leadership. They say that without those factors, development isn't possible. As a result, the party does its best to control public opinion. Mainstream media is used to promote party policies. Everything from encouraging people to abide by coronavirus social distancing guidelines to the number of children they can have. The internet and social media are heavily censored through China's Great Firewall and an army of censors who police the web, removing politically sensitive or subversive content. China blocks sites like Facebook and Twitter, while allowing access to Chinese-made and controlled sites like Weibo. The most important thing to the party is loyalty, be it in politics, business, and even entertainment. The Central Commission for Disciplinary Inspection enforces allegiance from within the party's ranks by maintaining discipline and adherence to party doctrine, increasingly through rule by law. Both inside and outside the party, people deemed to have been disloyal, including many activists, have been silenced, detained, placed under house arrest, or thrown into prison. Some disappeared for months or years before it was known what happened to them. Critics highlight such persecution as violations of human rights, but the party insists that's not the case. It says these prosecutions are in line with Chinese law and that anyone who falls foul of the law will be punished. The party's leaders say progress that benefits the population takes precedence over individual liberties, and love for China equates to love for the Communist Party.